All right, guys, this is video 2. So this is going to do the back side of the first page. So review. So this is doing problems 11 through 23. All right, so quadratic formula. So we're going to use that. So here is our equation, right? This is A, B, and C. Here A is actually 1 because there's no other number in front of there. So we're going to start with negative b, so negative 3, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all over 2 times a. Okay, so that's how it is. All right, so now I'm going to simplify. I start with simplifying what's underneath the radical. So you can do this on your calculator. I would type it in exactly how it looks here. I might even put parentheses around the 4. I would do it exactly like that. Put that into my calculator. When I put that in, I end up with negative 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 27 all over 2. So we need to simplify the square root of negative 27. So we know we're going to pull out a negative 1. If we take 27 and talk about what we did last week with our factor trees, this is 9 and 3, and then 3 and 3. I'm looking for pairs. I have a pair of 3s, so 3's on the outside, and my leftover is 3. So that's all going to go in the inside. And then the square root of negative 1 is I. So I'm just going to replace that negative square root of negative 27 with 3i radical 3. So negative 3 plus or minus 3i radical 3 all over 2. My last step is then to look at, wrong thing, sorry about that, is to look at these numbers here. Is there anything I can divide all those numbers by, which in this case is no, so I know that I'm done. Now, the answers, so we like to be lazy and we put the plus minus sign. If you notice, the answers just do plus and then they do a separate one with minus. Okay, here they have the negative, and then this one's the positive. Again, negative, this one's the positive, negative, this one's the positive. So the answer in this one's going to be D. All right, number 12. So evaluate each function. These are the easy questions. These are your gimme questions. So all you need to do is take this right here and plug it in for n here and here. Okay, we don't plug it into that over there. That's like saying y equals. It's you don't plug it in there. So 5 to the third minus 2 times 5. 5 to the third is 125 minus 10. That gives you 115 as your solution. All right, here we're going to take 5. We're going to put it in for a. So we have 5 squared minus 5. So 25 minus 5 gives me 20. 13. I'm sorry, number 14. So find the product. So rainbow method, FOIL, box method, whatever it is you want to call it. So 8b times b is 8b squared. 8b times 8 is 64b. Now we go to the second one, negative 6b and negative 48. What can we always do to the two middle terms? You can always combine them. 8b squared, so we have 64b minus 6. So that's going to end up being positive 58b and then minus 48, and that's your solution. All right, same thing here. I'll do this one box method just so that you can see it. So this is 4n, and we put a negative 4 since it's minus. All right, so then we're going to multiply what's in the boxes. So 4n times 2n gives me 8n squared. 5 times 4 gives me 20n. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8n. And 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. You then take the diagonals and you're going to combine those. So 8n squared. So negative 8 plus 20 gives me 12n. And then minus 20. And then that's your solution. All right, number 16. So now we have a binomial times a trinomial. So same thing, it's just we have an extra term that we're going to have to go to. So we have 2 times 6 is 12r cubed plus 4r squared minus 14r. Now we're going to do the 3. And we multiply that both things. Sorry, excuse me, negative 3. So negative 3 times 16 is negative r squared, negative 18r squared, negative 6r, and positive 21. Now you'll notice that you have, so here's a r squared and here's an r squared. So we'll be able to combine those. And then here we have 14r and then 6r. So we can combine those. Again, it's all the middle terms. So 12r cubed minus, let's see, 4 minus 18 is going to give us negative 14r squared. That would be a squared. There we go. And then negative 14 minus 6 is going to be negative 20r, and then plus 21. And then that's your solution. All right, simplify the expressions. So on this, we're just combining like terms. One thing you got to remember is whatever sign's in between here, that's what operation we're going to do. So if we start, we've got 7r cubed and 6r cubed. So that's going to, and we're subtracting, so 7 minus 6 is 1. So this would just be r cubed. And then, let's see, blue, we'll do, this is a positive 8r, and that negative 8r, so we have 8 minus negative 1. So 8 minus negative 1. So minus a negative becomes plus. So that would be 9r. And then lastly, we have negative 3 and positive 1. So we have 3 minus 1. So 3 minus 1 gives us negative 4. And that's your solution. Here we got a little bit more to it. So again, I know you might not have a highlighter, but you can underline things. Make sure you take the operation that comes in front. Like here, I took the plus. So there's to the fourth. Here's just x. And then here's just the number. Now you notice there's one that's not highlighted. It's because it doesn't have a match. So we'll talk about that here in a second. So first, let's start here. We've got 1x to the fourth minus 5. So 1 minus 5 is going to give us negative 4x to the fourth. Now, this one has an x squared, but this side doesn't. So we imagine this as 0x squared. So we're looking at 0 minus negative 4. Because we go from here to here to here. So this becomes plus. So this is plus 4x squared. And then we have the x's. So that's just going to end up being plus x. And then finally we have minus 4. Again, just combining like terms. All right, 19. This is synthetic division. Take the opposite of negative 4. So that's positive 4. And then we're going to take each one of our coefficients. So 9. Negative 34, negative 7, negative 12. First one always comes straight down. We're going to take 4 times 9 gives me 36. And remember, we always add when we go straight down. So this is 2. And then 4 times 2 gives me 8. So this would be 1. And 4 times 1 gives me 4. And this would be negative 8. So then to write my solution, my original started to the third. So my answer is going to start to the second. And then, so then we have, here, let me write it down here. 9p squared plus 2p plus 1. This is a negative, so minus 8 back over the p minus 4. All right, next one. All right, so in this next one, I'm going to take positive 7. So I have 1, negative 7, and 7. This looks kind of weird. There's only 3 terms here, and this one up here had 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to check this out. I got to the third, to the second, and then just a number. But where's x to the first? So we're missing that. So we have to put a placeholder 0 there. Okay? Can't forget that. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 0 is 0. Just kind of goes like that. So we have x squared 7 over x minus 7. And that's your solution. It looks kind of weird, but that's your solution. All right, next one. Before we start, we got to divide everything by 5. All right, so we have negative 7/5 out here. So this is 1, 47 over 5, 66 over 5, and 19 over 5. First one comes straight down. Negative 7 fifths times 1 is negative 7 fifths. Once you have denominators that have the same bottom number, then you can simply just add the top numbers and keep the denominator. So this would be 40 over 5, which is 8. All right, so now when we multiply, we're going to use the 8 in order to multiply. So you're just going to multiply the 8 times the top number of this negative 7. So negative 56, and keep your denominator. 66 plus negative 56 is 10 over 5, which is 2. Negative 7 times 2 gives me negative 14 over 5. So this ends up being 5 over 5. All right, so now we're going to write our answer. So we have a squared plus 8a plus 2 plus 5 over, and we're going to put the original 5a plus 7. All right. And, oh, we still have more, sorry. Find the inverse. So the original problem is f of x equals x minus 5 over 5. So the first step we do is we are going to replace f of x with y. So that's step 1. Step 2 is to flip-flop x and y. So it's going to end up being x equals y minus 5 divided by 5. Step 3 is that we are now going to solve this new equation. So to get rid of a divided by 5, I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. So I get 5x equals y minus 5. And then we just need to add 5 to both sides. So we just had to solve for y. So 5x plus 5 equals y. There's my solution. 23. So we have f of x equals x plus 1. So we make it y. We flip-flop them. And then we're going to solve. We get x minus 1 equals y. And there's your solution. All right, that's it for this video.